And we're live.
Woohoo! All right. Hello, Seaside Shadows followers, and welcome to our mystical Monday evening chat with you guys. It's me, Courtney, and Andrew. It's just a two-person chat tonight, but I trust our personalities will be big enough to fill the time. Don't you worry. And we are very excited to answer any questions you may have and to chit chat about a pretty big weekend of segments that we had. I want to start off by just addressing a couple things. The first thing I want to talk about, because we're still getting your messages and emails. Are you doing tours? Are you having events? What's canceled? What's not? We wish we knew. What we do know is that phase 2 of Connecticut's reopening looks like it will allow outdoor activities that are recreational so that we can attend in groups together. So if you live in separate households, you can come on a tour together in amounts under 50 people, which luckily is what Seaside Shadows maximum is anyway for a group to go out together. That being said, they haven't given us the details yet on how to manage that in a setting like a cemetery or a downtown area and what they would require legally from us. So we will be keeping an eye on that phase 2 as a hopeful. June 20th is a date where we can really start looking into what we can do. We have discussed that our, best case scenario, if the virus continues to decrease in numbers, at least in parts of the state. In New London County where we operate, the numbers are still going up. So we're going to keep an eye on that. But we are hopeful that perhaps around the 4th of July weekend, you can start ghost walking with us and we can maybe discuss the boat tours at that point. As for larger events, a lot of you wonder about our big paranormal investigations and things like that with John Zappis. As of now, we have not canceled any investigations that we have prepared to announce for the fall or any special events with restaurants that we're partnering with. That being said, restaurants and locations that are indoors that we work with will have their own rules and we will have to follow those, and we are taking it one day at a time. So be patient with us. Know that we're keeping our eye on it. We will let you know as soon as we know what's going on. There are no tickets up for sale on our website for that very reason. You can buy gift cards still. They're buy 3 get 1 free that you can use then when we do come back, hopefully in July. So that's definitely available. We're still looking to do a virtual tour in Salem in June. So that will be an exciting opportunity. The boat tours are available to book, but that's pretty much it on the website, unless you want to be a subscriber to our Patreon, where you can get personalized readings and spooky stories and things to fill your months when you can't ghost walk. So that's where we're at. You'll know when we know. We're keeping an eye on it and we're doing our best to keep you entertained with the segments that we're doing. So that was the first thing I wanted to chat about. And we do still hope that you're all staying safe and doing what's best for you and your family and each and every person's unique household and situation, and that you're hanging in there, whether you're dealing with the health issues or the economic issues. This affects all of us, and we want you to stay safe and happy as much as possible. The next thing I wanted to address, we are historians. We are commentators on society of the past, of centuries past. And one of the biggest things that we do as historians is talk about events that seemingly recur today, how history is very cyclical, and what we can learn from the people who have gone through said events, how we've grown as people and how we haven't grown as people from our past. And so with us being historians, we also look at current events. And we know right now is a time full of anxiety and fear and divide. And we want everyone to know that we here at Seaside Shadows are united with everyone in the Black community specifically right now, that we are on your side. We want to be advocates of your story and your history, and we want to let you know that we are with you. So please stay in touch with us and let us know if there are any unique figures in Connecticut that we can feature in future segments, as that's something that we really want to do and promote and expose your history more than we have been. So shame on us for not, but we are in solidarity with you, and we want you to know that as Seaside Shadows. So please know that our hearts are with you, and we are with you at this time. So with those two things, coronavirus and all of this going on, we don't ignore it. We know that you're out there in it too, just like us, and we want to acknowledge those things as they go on. What happened this week is me specifically, the business owner, doesn't always keep up with current events immediately. I find out like a week later what went on when I actually turn on my TV. I've just been so busy researching and reading old dusty books that sometimes I'm a little delayed on an information due to my own habits. So this week we already had a schedule planned. We considered rescheduling some of our weekend segments to try and do different segments. But since everything was already written and planned, and we did not have the time we felt to do a change about segments, we carried on with our week. And that's why you saw what you did this weekend, not us ignoring something that had been planned a long time ago. And everything has a reason. And I have to think we were with the people we were with and the stories we were with this weekend and this week for a very important reason. It started off Wednesday. Laura was going to be your witch of the week, and she came down with a little virus, so she was unable to do it. So you maybe saw that I came live and did live angel tarot reading for viewers. And what I thought was going to be a more personalized reading for folks turned out to be a reading that was very much about letting go of ways of old life and things that no longer serve you and embracing a new way of life. And it became applicable for the universe in so many ways. So we got a little hint with our angel cards and the spirits telling us that we're in this cycle of change on Wednesday. As time went on, and then we reached Saturday, I was in Hartford, Connecticut with the indomitable Katharine Hepburn and her amazing family at their resting place. And we told the story of a very strong woman who overcame all sorts of things that we didn't realize that this Hollywood actress would have gone through. But more than that, she came from a family that was outspoken about what they believed in and lived by what they believed doing was right, even if it wasn't popular. And they got themselves into a lot of trouble, but they also knew who they were at heart. And that story couldn't be more fitting. And then we moved into Sunday, where we had this spooky, ominous story. And omens are a very frightening thing, especially when they appear as real as you or I do in living form. But to have an omen that's a symbol of chaos and not listening to what you're told, also very fitting for clear reasons. So when I looked back at, should I have changed the schedule? Should we have done something different? I think it happened exactly how it was meant to happen. And so for that reason, we very much hope that you got to enjoy that reading, that time with Katharine, and that spooky, spooky story of the Black Fox. So just to recap a couple things, and then you guys can ask questions, and I'm going to have Andrew recap some things on the Black Fox and what's happened with that. But to recap for the angel tarot card readings, tarot card readings are a very ancient form of divination, and angel cards are a way to use the spirits on the other side to communicate. And that's why I picked this. And sometimes they can give more insight that they can be heavy handed with the information, which is a little bit nice in comparison to regular tarot. And the cards we picked, again, were very applicable to the circumstance. We did a full cleansing of the cards. We asked for the reading to be applicable to whoever may be watching at that time, and the spirits chose correctly. So if you ever do want readings, personally, I am a spirit medium who practices reading in addition to ghosty and history stuff. And I do card readings, tea leaf readings, rune readings. We've partnered with Best Amours and Mystic, a lovely Scandinavian store for rune readings. And those are all forms of predicting the future. And then I also do spirit communication medium readings. So you can always visit my website, CourtneyMcInvilleReardon.com, for information on those. If you want a personalized reading, I just got an exciting new shipment in the mail today of runes to use for our readings at Best Amours, and also some new pendulums. We're definitely going to do some more pendulum magic. We did a little scrying in one of our Witchy Wednesdays, and I got this new opalite 6-sided pendulum that has such a unique energy and prism look to it. I can't wait to show it to you guys in a future Witchy Wednesday. And the amethyst one I got was actually just radiating warmth. So very excited to add those to our reading collective. And these stones, these cards, once you start to work with them, you really get in touch with their energy, and that's how you best get information. And if you guys have questions on how that works, this is a great place to ask them. Saturday was a day I kind of felt like Andrew did with Samuel Colt, that I had this enormous figure with this very long past with several events. I spent days reading about her, watching documentaries about her, reading family accounts of her. Miss Katharine Hepburn, How Do I Address a Life in Less Than 30 Minutes at Your Gravesite. And then, of course, the first thing I did when I left was think, I forgot half the stuff I knew. I think, or did I say it, or did I not, or did I mean to say it? And one thing has been on my heart, and then I'll recap. I loved that Katharine was one of only 3 women in Hollywood that wore trousers during the golden age in her private time. She was like, no to the dresses, no to the skirts. I'm being comfortable. I'm wearing pants. And I think that goes back to when she identified as a boy when she was younger, but also just her comfortability with herself and who she was and how she was going to live her life. So if I didn't mention that then, I'm mentioning it now, that I thought that was really great. And tech-wise, you may have noticed in the beginning of Katharine Hepburn's video that the sound went out for about a minute, in and out while I was talking. And then it got better. I'm going to explain this. So we have these new mic systems, which I was inclined to blame because new technology and myself are not friends. And I was like, well, it's this new fancy mic that my husband told me was going to work wonders for our videos. And now it's, some dud that I got in the mail. And then I thought, well, wait, we tested it in the yard. All right, maybe that wasn't enough. And then my husband said to me, we used the mic with Andrew last week at Samuel Colt, and it was raining and it was windy and there were no issues. And as you can see in Katharine's video, it was sunny and not really windy. And I thought, okay, well then we hooked something up wrong. So we couldn't figure it out. But we thought it was working again, and we went live. And then the sound didn't work at all. You couldn't hear my voice at all. So we went unlive within 30 seconds. And fiddled with the microphones, reset the whole thing, and then went live again. The live video you see now is the second live, the full live. But if you look in the first minute, the sound still goes in and out the whole time for the first minute. And then it really smooths out and you can really hear the segment. And My sister told me it kind of sounds like a podcast in the background, but you know, you can see her lovely stone and you can listen to the story. All right. But can we discuss what happened? Why did the sound go in and out in the first minute? What I will tell you is I privately went up to Katharine Hepburn Stone and to her family and asked that I be allowed to share their story and that they be there with me if they choose to let me share what they saw fit. But one of the biggest things that you probably learned from this segment is that Katharine Hepburn was an incredibly private and secretive person. And she didn't divulge really anything to the press during her life. There was a biographer that knew her. He had a key to her house. He knew her so well that he could go there for 20 years. And he still didn't know anything about her intimate personal life and other details. And he said he would dare not ask. She was not one to tell. So me coming there in any way to expose any part of her personal life probably wasn't something she was looking forward to. So I wanted to chat with her about it. Actually, my great grandmother worked for her father. So I felt maybe she would be a little bit like, you know, kind to me or something like that. I'm hoping my great grandmother was really nice, you know, made a good impression. And I thought we were good. I could feel her reluctant acceptance of me being there. Her arms were folded as I could see her kind of in my, you know, third eye and in spirit form. And I could hear her voice, which is inevitably sassy because that's who she is, but I thought we were fine. So the first minute, she ruffles feathers, she messes with the sound is what we have concluded. And then, you know, smooth sailing, maybe once she figured out what our vibe was. So if you notice that in the video and you're wondering, did I feel Katharine there? Yes, I did. And I'm inclined to believe that part of that was her responsibility. One of the things that I think is most inspirational about her is that she was so confident in who she was, yet so secretive at the same time. It means that you can know who you are, but you can choose who you let see that. And I think that that's just a really fascinating lesson from Katharine Hepburn. She never questioned who she was or what she wanted or what she did. And, you know, some called her motivation desperate. But then she was also very humble and was like, anyone can do what I do. And like I said, I don't believe that's true. I believe you have to be motivated and you get to choose who sees the real you. So hopefully you got that lesson from Katharine. And if you have any other questions, let me know. You can also comment and share on This Mystical Mondays to participate in the contest. Katharine Hepburn wrote an autobiography entitled Me, because she's Katharine Hepburn. And we are giving away a copy of her autobiography if you like and share the video that we did at her beautiful gravesite in Cedar Hill. And when you watch the video and you're expecting some grand monument, don't. It's the most simple burial. It's just a small flat stone on the ground and a rock that says Hepburn in the back of the family. That's it. She didn't want the fanfare. She didn't even have a funeral, but it is a beautiful cemetery and a beautiful spot. So share the video, see what you think of Katharine's life. We won't do the whole thing again, and enter to win an autobiography by Katharine Hepburn entitled Me. And now I'm gonna turn it over to Andrew to talk about what struck him most about the black fox. It's funny, when I first read the story, I was like, not so scary, you know, this phantom beast and these hunters who are delirious in the dark and cold think it exists, until the real accounts of missing people and, you know, these horrifying events start to come about, and this fox clearly is a messenger. So Andrew, I'll let you recap what you think his biggest message is, and do you think he's still around today?
So this was a great story. I really enjoyed it. To answer the first question, what I think struck me most immediately about the story was that this is a tale that's hundreds of years old, like a lot of these tales. But it's about structurally a very similar thing to a lot of the great, like I said in the video, Greek tragedies, Roman tragedies, and the idea of the afterlife and madness being forced insanity and doing the same thing over and over again. So I think that was what first originally struck me was, wow, look, we have a civilization that's did have no European influence that had a very, very similar myth and legend to the ones that the Greeks and the Romans and the Celtics made about hell and about suffering and about how madness can be. So that was right away one of the most interesting things for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
the idea that, there we talk about religious similarities with the ideas of forgiveness and the divineness of this one being or person that is, capable of miracles. But we don't often talk about the similarities from the darker side of a lot of these faith systems. But what I do find intriguing is that people have always known that everyone's worst enemy is their own darkness and their own mind, and the fox seemingly is a symbol of that spans cultures. So you're right, that's incredibly incredibly fascinating. But yes, next question, do you think he's still around, and if so, what does he say now?
so there's a part in the video when I'm talking about the creature, and then I just suddenly like look off into the distance,
That was my
um,
favorite part.
because there was honestly something in the woods, just like maybe 30, 40 feet away from me, and it sounded like a fox, and it
What are you
sounded
saying about me?
like it was a fox that was like laughing, and I
Mm,
was just like, this is just a weird coincidence right
right.
now, if that's what this is. Um, so is he still around? I also say remember that Hobomoko is the native god that's supposedly very powerful in the region, and he
Hmm.
was a trickster. So perfect opportunity. Send a fox while the dude's talking about the story of a black fox. This'll scare everyone.
Yeah. So, his message is clear and that he's still around. Is there anything else that you feel makes him incredibly applicable to the chaotic, times we're living in?
Um, I think the the inherent nature of wanting to do what you have often been told not to, whether that's right or wrong. There's a compulsion that comes along with the counter psychology of um, a reverse psychology of don't do this. It's like wet paint. Gotta touch it.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And that
so
was in
there.
the story, like everyone said, don't shoot it, don't follow it. And every time they would, shoot their arrows at it or aim at it and follow it. And it was like they knew they were warned, but they couldn't stop.
Yep. It's cries falling on deaf ears to the point where action needs to be taken.
Hmm. Yeah. See, I, have been nervous lately, especially about omens, and I was almost nervous to give an omen story because spiritually, and Andrew, you know this, we've been giving the tours for years, and there's days or times where activity is very escalated. Or we have an encounter with a spirit on our tours or investigation that's so vivid and clear. It's like we thought they were one of our guests or they were right there. Or something of that nature, or we get a touch and then we realize that other people are getting those sensations on the same night or in the same area. And even since I started researching one of my books a few years ago, we started to see an amping up of spiritual activity and communication. And the New York Times even recently did an article about the increase in paranormal occurrences in people's homes since the pandemic, having more ghostly activity. And the question was, is it ghostly activity that's been there and now people are home to notice it? Or is it actually increasing as we go through this human upheaval of a time? So it was an interesting article, but it does validate that slowly we've seen this arc of escalation of activity and signs and inexplicable things. And I kept thinking, we also talked about the nightmares and the weird dreams and the vivid dreams we've all been having lately. And people have been asking in this Q&A weekly, have you noticed an increase? So people are noticing an increase. They're noticing the strange dreams, the sleepless nights, especially more and more. But we've been noticing it for probably a couple of years, but we've noticed it been amping up over those couple of years. And I was nervous to give an omen story with the amping up of some sort of message that doesn't necessarily seem, entirely positive. The spirits are there to protect us, but also to warn us. So to talk of a spirit anomaly that's particularly a warning, I was like, oh my goodness, like I hope the black box doesn't, run across the screen. But then I thought, it's important because these legends are created from times like this. That's when we start to see that we had a warning and there's something to heed. And, we can explain the mysterious figures that always appear on these like remote islands or shoreline communities to tell people a hurricane's about to come. And they only go to the houses and save the people of the buildings that are destroyed. These omens, these messengers that are coming through. And in a way, I feel like the black fox may have a bad rep and be that symbol of chaos, but he's also a warning, to to kind of follow what is right. And if you don't, what happens to you, no one knows, kind of thing. So he is a messenger to stay true to your path. And if we look at it that way, it's not so scary. But he does, make you think you want to leave that path, which again goes back to that good and evil, the temptation to do the bad thing, which is what makes evil so enticing, why we all have a dark side and a bad side. And we all make jokes, like, if I go to hell, at least I'll be with my friends type thing, like I'll be in good company. So the bad omen does kind of entice you, but remind you to be true. So I think it was an interesting time to do that, that segment. And we have other omens that we talk about on the tours. But I would be curious to know, and I'll ask it first to Andrew, but I'll be curious if you guys would share with us too. Have you seen any signs or omens or had visions in your dreams that you have felt have been prophetic or telling you personally something or warning you of any of the current events that we are enduring as human beings? So definitely let us know. And I'll ask you, Andrew, have you had any omens or signs that you think have been coming to you almost to let you know things were going to happen?
So we've talked previously on quite a few of these about how dreams have been just crazy lately. And I myself am no exception. I dream vividly, and that's normally. And nowadays, it's just been like very close to lucid dreaming, but without the control.
Yes.
And until you had asked me that, I hadn't really ever considered it. But I have I don't really know how it's pronounced. Thisallophobia. It's the fear of deep dark water.
Mm, that's interesting.
And I've been having a lot of those dreams lately of like being around a lot of deep dark water. And I hadn't really considered it a sign of anything until you said that. And I feel like, yeah, maybe that is because we're in deep, dark times right
Mhm.
now.
Yeah, we don't know necessarily how far up the surface is or what creatures are in the deep of the ocean type thing. So we don't know yet what's to come and how far away we are from relief of it. And it's true. Like we feel like probably as people, we get through 1 week or 1 month without something, pulling on our heartstrings or our public health or whatever the case may be, or our civil rights in society, and then the next week or the next month the worst thing happens. Like no one thought this virus would be called a pandemic, and we were all like, wow, like that's mind-blowing. We've been getting signs, but we didn't expect the pandemic word. I'm like that too. I'm like, well, I thought something, but geez, that's like intense. And then it was strange. I kept talking with friends and saying something else. I don't know what, but something else, you mark my words, is coming. And I don't know what, because I was waking up at night, and last night I woke up 6 times. I'm like, something is, in the ether. And now with all that's going on, God bless the protesters. I'm not saying they shouldn't protest, God bless them, but the upheaval, the pain, and the fear that is in the world right now, that is being exposed. It's maybe always been there, but is now being exposed, is heart wrenching, and it's going to be life changing for us. That's going to be life changing. Living through a pandemic is life changing. And I truly believe that we will all be better people at the end of all this, and that there will be a light. I believe that in my heart, and I believe that our loved ones believe that. But I do think we have a rocky road ahead of us. And I think a lot of our spirit sightings and a lot of our omens have been trying to strengthen us for the path to that brighter future. And we have a path, and before we think of it as a curse to be adults in 2020, we have the privilege of lots of people that came before us who have endured these things that we can look to. And I hope that you're able to utilize us at Seaside Shadows in some minimal capacity, whatever it may be, to look back at people, whether it's the 20th, 19th, 18th, or 17th centuries, who have endured pandemics, who have endured injustice, who have endured terrible things in their lives, and still went on to make not only something of themselves, but something for their families and for the world. And a lot of the people that we're featuring, one of the things that strikes me the most is that they come from nothing, and make themselves something. And Andrew vanished, and hopefully he comes back. But I hope that you take that to heart from some of these folks, and just use our stories about these people as inspiration. Andrew's back. He's connecting to audio. Welcome back.
Sorry about that, guys.
Was it the ghosties? But I was just saying, hopefully you can use our historic segments to look toward people. We love the underdogs. They're our favorites at Seaside Shadows, and we love people that made long-lasting, effective change and who knew who they were. So hopefully you can view our segments that are virtual at this time, for a week, never before done, uncharted territory for us. and meet some fascinating individuals. We do everything from gods and goddesses that are inspirational on Witchy Wednesdays to real life people from the Connecticut region so far on Cemetery Saturdays, to New England legends and lore based on true history every Spooky Story Sunday. And there's always a lesson to be had and a person to draw from. So I do believe that history can help us, and we definitely are proud to be, history ambassadors. So, history will get us through this. There's a lot of strength behind us in the generations that came before us, more than we think of, and they're here, and they'll help us figure it out. So, if you get spooked, also remember there's inspiration to everything that we share. But I think, that's why I said in the beginning, these 3 stories, these 3 things this week about angels, about good and evil and Spooky Story Sunday, and about, someone who knows who they are despite what society wants them to be, are all very, very helpful to us at this time. And we're working on our segments for next week. We have some exciting things, too, coming up with no spoilers. But I do hope that you continue to enjoy them. We have not determined how long we'll be doing them once we go doing tours again, because we can't be everywhere at once. But you'll at least get these series through June, and we encourage you to take advantage of them while you can. If we're now all very prepared for anything. If we get shut down again, if things just don't go the way we planned, which is the way of 2020. We just need to ride the roller coaster. We will work to expand the length of time that we're offering these. And we are also going to start having some apparel offerings, things like that, some Seaside Shadows shirts, masks, maybe, some things that, show your favorite spooky segment of the week, that sort of thing. But we are going to have some new apparel coming. So that'll be fun. And our Witchy Wednesday store is going to be open within the next 2 weeks. So you'll be able to get all sorts of fun Seaside Shadows swag in addition to the videos. And so you'll still have a strong online presence no matter what happens in the outside world. As long as we still have Wi-Fi, we'll find a way to get to you. The spooky stories will find us. People are also asking about Ireland 2020. Add it to my I wish I knew list. What I know is this: Ireland has not said unequivocally that they will allow anyone to tour there in 2020. They've actually said that they may remain shut down to visitors for the rest of the year. And they're not even opening some pubs until almost the fall, which shows the seriousness with which Ireland is taking coronavirus. So it's what will be allowed. And we have to let the Irish authorities decide what they will allow. As of now, we are still planning on going. You can still make a deposit that will be refundable if the trip is canceled, but will also secure your space in the event that it is not canceled. So I encourage you to still look at the Ireland itinerary if you want to get away. If it's safe, we will be going. If not, you will be refunded your deposit, and a deposit will hold it. So at least you don't have to fully jump in if you can't right now. And that is in the first week of November of 2020. I know we put it up. It starts on the trip starts on election day. What do we call it? Yeah, we call it election day. There's a reason for everything. You may as well come to Ireland and have a pint and watch what happens from there, is what I say. And then we'll at least be like, well, we have this pint of Guinness no matter what, right? So that's something to look forward to if we can get there. So I have seen your questions about that. And we're in the same boat as you, but we're trying our best to do what we can day by day. So just ride that ride with us. You guys have been phenomenal. The other thing I wanted to say tonight is thank you. You know, we have discussed together how much our views have increased on videos. So, to those of you that are liking and sharing, who are coming to us for the first time as Connecticut locals, that's been exciting. We've been getting our Connecticut locals, yes, instead of our tourists, who are great too, but in addition to our tourists who we get, now we're getting the local Connecticut folks who didn't know we were here. And we love both. We love showing people not from Connecticut what we have, and we love exposing the people from Connecticut to things they didn't know we had. And we love making friends from around the country and the state, which we get to. But our views have increased a lot, and that's because of you. That's because you're watching, you're sharing, you're liking, you're following our page, and you probably see the virtual tip jar. If you can't give, that's fine. Those likes and those shares and those letting people know who we are, that means the world to us, and that helps us out so much. So please, please continue to like and share on Facebook. If you follow us online on Instagram, we are at Seaside Shadows, same on Twitter, and we are also Seaside Shadows Haunted Tours on YouTube. And we desperately need subscribers to our new YouTube channel, where you can go watch all of these videos in full, sometimes a little more easily than you can on the Facebook platform. And we are also always looking for Instagram and Twitter followers, and we will do our best to follow you back as quickly as possible. So please keep doing what you're doing, and thank you so much for increasing our views. We started off with just little views, like under 100, and we were like, that's great, people are watching, we're really happy. And we have the most dedicated fans that come to see us every year and follow our things, and we're like, even just having them means the world. And then we started seeing hundreds of people were watching, and thousands of people were watching. So we are so grateful, and maybe we'll get even more. So we're cautiously optimistic that I think that together we can continue to share the videos. But I know a lot is going on in the world, a lot in the news. You guys are probably like, I don't have anything to say, I don't have any questions right now. Thank you for talking to me.
Actually, we do have two comments on our.
Good.
So Lynn Blackshaw says, "Hi, Courtney from Brick, New Jersey."
Oh, hi, Lynn. Thank you. See, these are my friends from out of Connecticut that I love, that come and see us and watch our things. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And then Kyle Bishop says, on the virtual tour of Salem, are we walking inside the old Burying Point Cemetery?
No. Period.
That one was an easy answer. We're not.
You may see a glimpse of it when we go near it, but we're not going in it. Salem has very special rules about tours and cemeteries, and that is that. And I'm not getting in trouble. So those are good questions. The Salem tour, that reminds me, I get licensed every year in Salem. We do at Seaside Shadows. It's a bit of a process. Obviously, they have, a very big walking tour market. So what you have to do logistically is different there than it is here in Connecticut, where our home base is. And though my license has been renewed, it has not been made and mailed. And of course, that's, people are working at home and being safe. So the Salem tour, the virtual tour will come as soon as that actual license comes, so that I can legally give the tour to you and walk around in that capacity. So we'll announce a date as soon as that comes in the mail. But again, I know everyone's asking you to be patient, and I am too. Be patient. The license will come. It's already approved. We just have to let people be safe and make it when they can. And that's where we are at with Salem. But I know, again, a lot of you guys are tired. If you guys think of questions later, about anything we discussed tonight, about any of our previous segments, we now have had, oh my gosh, 2 full months of segments, right? We
Yeah.
started off with Spooky Story Sunday. That probably has the most, and then Cemetery Saturday, and then Witchy Wednesday. Like, if you're not caught up, there's at least 8 or 9 episodes of each one, for your, viewing pleasure, and you can watch our ability to talk on camera get better over 2 months, as
Even
well.
our equipment improve.
And our equipment, the clarity of our face, our comfortability, you can watch it just
The
grow
lack of
right in front of you. Hopefully you're watching it grow. If you're like, man, this was worse than March, I'm gonna be like, oh, let me know. But I think that we're getting better. But thank you guys. Spend any time you have to relax. Looking to history, getting inspiration, catch up on any episodes and send us questions at any time. And we will be back this week. We're having a little get together meeting with the staff tomorrow, to get some plans underway for a really great, another at least month of segments, and some other big things on the way that we're excited to be sharing with you soon. So stay in touch with us. Much love to all of you. Be safe out there and stay true to who you are, and know that we are with you. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.